Have you ever felt it, that quiet, creeping sense of distance? The feeling that the more you think, the more you see, the more isolated you become? The more you understand the intricate gears of the world, the less people seem to want to listen to you speak. It can feel like a personal failing, a social defect, but let me tell you, it is not just in your head. Society has always had a deeply uneasy relationship with its most profound thinkers. Not because they are wrong, but for a much more terrifying reason. Because they see what the rest of us have agreed not to. History is a graveyard of brilliant minds who were ridiculed, silenced, or ignored. Not for their lack of intelligence, but because they made people profoundly uncomfortable. The brutally honest philosopher, Arthur Schopenhauer, even argued that intelligence itself was a curse. Today we embark on a journey to understand this curse, and perhaps find a way to live with it. To grasp this fear, we must first understand how we process different forms of superiority. When you stand next to someone physically stronger, you might admire them, see them as a protector. When you meet someone wealthier, you might envy their success, or aspire to it. These qualities, strength, wealth, even beauty, are external. We recognize them, but they don't necessarily challenge our core self-perception. But intelligence operates differently. It is internal. It is the very fabric of who we believe we are. When you encounter someone intellectually superior, something strange and threatening happens. Psychologists call it the mirror effect. The deep thinker does not just introduce new ideas. They become a living, breathing mirror. And in that mirror, others don't see the thinker's brilliance. They're forced to see a reflection of their own limitations, their unexamined beliefs, their intellectual comfort zones. People don't forgive that easily. A challenge to your thoughts feels like a challenge to your very existence. This isn't mere psychological discomfort. It is a deep biological alarm. Modern neuroscience shows that when people feel intellectually inferior, their brain's amygdala, the ancient command center for fear and threat detection, lights up like a fire alarm. But why would an idea trigger the same fear as a predator? The answer is etched into our evolutionary DNA. For hundreds of thousands of years, our survival depended not on being the smartest person in the room, but on being accepted by the tribe. Social harmony was safety. Rejection from the group meant isolation, and isolation meant a near certain death. Our brains are hardwired with a primal directive: seek social acceptance, even at the cost of intellectual truth. When a highly intelligent person enters a social setting, they unknowingly disrupt this tribal balance. A 2021 Stanford study revealed something shocking. This threat response spikes dramatically in group settings, where social status is paramount. If someone feels outshined, their instinct isn't to learn, but to undermine or exclude, to protect their own standing in the tribe. And our modern world has built giant amplifiers for this ancient fear. Social media algorithms are not designed for depth. They are designed for engagement. Controversy, outrage, and simple, emotionally charged content spread like wildfire. Nuanced, complex ideas are too slow for the feed. They can't be compressed into a viral soundbite. Society increasingly favors entertainment over enlightenment, creating a hostile environment for the deep thinker. This rejection is baked into our institutions. Our education system often claims to value intelligence, but in reality, it rewards obedience and regurgitation. A student who questions authority is labeled a troublemaker. The corporate world doesn't favor the most innovative employees. It favors those who fit the culture and maintain the existing power structure. And in politics, leaders with bold, simple slogans almost always defeat those who speak complex, uncomfortable truths. This brings us back to the bleak wisdom of Schopenhauer. His philosophy was built on the concept of the will, a blind, irrational, ceaseless force that drives all life. Most people, he argued, are utterly controlled by the will to live. They are programmed to seek pleasure, comfort, and survival above all else. They find meaning in relationships, entertainment, and routine pleasures. But the highly intelligent person operates differently. In them, a new force awakens: the will to truth. This is an insatiable desire to understand reality, even if it leads to pain, discomfort, and isolation. This creates a fundamental, tragic disconnect. The deep thinker sees the small talk, the status games, the polite dishonesty of social life, and feels a profound sense of disillusionment. They crave depth, but society favors simplicity. Schopenhauer wrote, "A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial." His reasoning was simple. The more you understand, the less you can ignore. The more aware you are of the world's flaws, the harder it is to find happiness in it. The price of this will to truth is written in the blood and tears of history's greatest minds. They are the martyrs of our progress. Consider Socrates, the father of Western philosophy. He was put on trial for corrupting the youth and disrespecting the gods. His real crime? Encouraging people to question their own beliefs. Given the choice between silence and death, he drank the poison, famously declaring that the unexamined life is not worth living. Consider Galileo Galilei. His only crime was discovering the truth with his telescope. When he proved the earth revolves around the sun, he shattered centuries of religious dogma that held power through controlling knowledge. The church branded him a heretic and forced him to publicly deny his own discoveries under threat of torture. He spent the rest of his life under house arrest. Consider Nikola Tesla, a visionary who dreamed of wireless electricity and free energy for the world. But those in power, industrialists like Thomas Edison and J.P. Morgan, saw his ideas not as progress, but as a threat to their business models. They waged a war against him, and he died alone, forgotten, and broke in a hotel room, while others built empires on his stolen genius, and the tragic irony of Alan Turing. The hero whose mind cracked the Enigma code and helped end World War II, the father of modern computing, was not honored. He was persecuted for his personal life, chemically castrated by the very government he helped save, a cruelty that led to his suicide. Each of these thinkers, and countless others, shared the same fate. They introduced ideas that were too advanced for their time. They weren't rejected because they were wrong. They were rejected because they were right, far too soon. So, if you feel this isolation, this friction with the world, are you doomed to loneliness? No, absolutely not. It simply means you must learn to navigate society with wisdom and strategy. First, and most importantly, save your deepest, most profound thoughts for people who have earned the right to hear them. Not everyone is ready, and that is okay. You don't need millions to understand you. You just need the right ones. Find your tribe, whether in books, online communities, or exclusive intellectual circles. Second, learn to be a translator. Master the art of communicating your depth without overwhelming others. As Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. This isn't about dumbing down your ideas. It's about building a bridge to other minds. And finally, reframe your solitude. Schopenhauer advised thinkers to embrace it, not as a punishment, but as a sacred privilege. It is in the quiet sanctuary of your own mind that you can do your most important work, free from the noise of the tribe. Deep thinkers see the world differently, and that will always make some people uncomfortable. But that does not mean you should stop thinking. Society may fear deep thinkers, but it is the deep thinkers who drag humanity, kicking and screaming, into the future. If this video resonated with you, share your story in the comments. Have you ever faced rejection for thinking deeply? Let's start a real conversation. And if you want to continue exploring the ideas that shape our world, hit that subscribe button. Our journey is just beginning.